Welcome to the next video. This video is about the AP Customs and Rhino Arms Ultralight Handguard Generation 2. What makes the Generation 2 handguard different from the Generation 1 are a few additions. The first one would be at the 12 o'clock position. You can see is a series of small holes. Those holes accommodate 440 cap screws, which will hold on a tactical top rail. So when you purchase your handguard tube, you no longer have to buy either the tactical model or the non-tactical model, because all models will at a later date accommodate a tactical top rail should you choose to add one. So it makes ordering much simpler, and it also makes the possibility of purchasing a top rail at a later date possible. If you were purchasing the handguard with the thought that at some point in time you may want to sell the handguard, it's smart to order it with the tactical top rail so that when you sell the handguard you already have the top rail and the next person can make the choice as to whether or not to leave that on or take that off. When you install the tactical top rail, you just put the series of small screws through the bottom, and they thread directly into the top rail, so you no longer have the little backer washers that go inside the holes like you do on the 2-inch and 4-inch pick rails that mount on the sides. If you don't know what that is, watch the other video, the Gen 1 video, and you will see how that works. The second feature that you find in the Generation 2 model is that there are 2 holes in each mounting position. So the 3 o'clock, the 6 o'clock, and the 9 o'clock spots both have a pair of mounting holes versus just one mounting hole in each position on the Generation 1 model. The trunnion is twice as long. So this is the Gen 2 here versus the Generation 1. You can see that there's a lot more purchase area there, so that when you slide the tube on, the bearing area for weight is much larger, making for a much more solid mount up. And if you're running a handguard or something, your handguard can mount to the little swivel stud that mounts in that hole there, and you've got a lot more rigidity in the tube, less flex, and what have you. The Generation 1 handguard tube, the trunnion mounted to the original mil-spec barrel nut. The new version, the Gen 2, uses a proprietary barrel nut that you see here, which is a much better piece than the mil-spec version. It's lighter than a mil-spec version, and it's much more solid, but you'll see that there are holes all the way around it. So when you mount that barrel, when you mount the barrel to the upper, you've got a lot of area there. When you tighten the barrel nut down, a lot of different screw holes, a lot of flexibility as to where the trunnion can mount to it. The way that works is when you take your upper receiver, you slide the barrel in. The barrel slides right in, and of course the barrel extension has a little tab on top of it that indexes with the little slot there in the upper receiver, slides right in. The barrel nut goes over that. Tighten that down. Torque it down to spec, which can be anywhere from 40 to 90 pounds. Doesn't need to be so tight that you're breaking aluminum parts. A lot of people apply anti-seize when they mount that barrel, but the barrel mounts in. You thread the barrel nut on and you tighten it down. And when you tighten it down, you can use one of the screws in the top there. As you see, I'm putting a screw in here so that you can mount the gas tube. So that when you tighten that down, you want to get that lined up. You want to get one of those holes lined up perfectly with the gas tube hole that you see there. So you have a mounting hole and the gas tube hole lined up perfectly. So then barrel's on, barrel nut's on, trunnion slides right on there. Okay, and then the trunnion, there is a crease in the top of the trunnion where the gas tube goes. So you can see that there. that lines up. Okay, and then once that's lined up, you can take a mounting screw, pop it in there, thread that in. Okay, and there are four of those screws that attach the trunnion to the barrel nut. It's very solid. So those screws, you might want to use Loctite on those. You know, blue or red, whatever. If you think you're gonna leave it on there for a long time, just go ahead and use the red. And then once that's done, you want to put all four of those mounting screws in, and then the tube slides right on. Mounting holes line up, and you thread in your 6 mounting screws there, and that's what your finished receiver would look like with the Handguard tube. Of course, the barrel is going to be on there. And then if you chose later to add your tactical top rail, that's what it would look like with the tactical top rail. So that's the Generation 2 Handguard from AP Customs and Rhino Arms. Of course, in the Generation 1 Handguard tube video, you can watch and see how accessories mount to this rail and how you can mount a bipod tube to that. If you have any questions, you can comment down below, like the video, share, subscribe, whatever you like to do, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.